Good afternoon, bowling fans. We are in warm-up mode here on C Squad for the 2024 Missouri Masters Championship from St. Joseph, Missouri, here at Revolution Lanes and Fun Center on King Hill Road. Competitors will be bowling a 3-game set. They will skip to a new pair every game. They will skip 4 pairs of lanes and land on the 5th pair. The highest 17 scores of the day will automatically be seeded into tomorrow's 32-player match play round. 6:30 p.m. tonight, players that did not make the automatic seeding but did make the cut, I believe it's 48 bowlers, will bowl a cashier's round. They will start over. There will no scores carry over. They will bowl the cashier's round, and they will be seeded into the match play field. Right. You have 2 minutes remaining. 2 minutes remaining of warm-up. During warm-up here, I see another bowler assisting Bradley Perkle, and they put some surface on his bowling ball. Now it's going to have a fresh surface on it, so let's see what it does here on lane 10. Ball picked up at about 17, 18 feet, but it'll calm down a little bit here. Absorb a little bit of oil on the next shot. The lanes have been re-oiled. This is a fresh shot. It's the 2022 USBC Masters pattern. It's 32 and some change units of oil. It's 40 feet long. About 16 and a half units on the forward run, about 15 units on the reverse run. Loads of 9 to 9, and the ratio is 1.8 to 1. So it's a very flat pattern. A lot of oil in the front, about 8 feet of buff from the end of the pattern to where the reverse drop. The pattern transitions quickly, and it's played very tough today. And there was a 714 series, the leader of last squad, but the next highest series are 650 and 640. So it's a very, very difficult test of bowling. We'll be getting underway here momentarily. And before we do that, let's thank our sponsors. We have Revolution's Lanes and Fun Center, Jacqueline and Brian Menini, proprietors. We have JDR Electric, C&M Trucking, Miller Tires, Storm Bowling, Brunswick Bowling, Berkey Turkey's Pro Shop. Please check out their website at bntbowlingsupply.com. And the Northwest Senior Missouri's Bowlers Tour. And now we're going to get underway here on lanes 9 and 10, and Bradley Perkle with his first shot. A little high, gets a little trip. Nice little break. We have Bradley Perkle. We have Trey Myers. And we have Trevor Piper-Gerdes on lanes 9 and 10. Over on 7 and 8 and making his opening shot. Ryan Powers, last year's champion. We have Joey Findley on lane 7, who was also a match play finalist in last year's event. And we have Dustin Adams. Trey Myers up himself a little test here on the opening shot. It's a split. It can be made. He's going to have to make a very good shot and slide that 2-pin into the 6-10. Let the ball take out the 4. Get a couple, Trey. Oh, well, he got a couple the hard way. Throw a little backup shot at it, but he had a high enough rev rate on his backup shot that he got the 6-10. Trevor with a good break to leave makeable, and Dustin Adams looks like he's throwing that hammer envy pearl, and came up a little high but got a good break. He has 4-7 left to convert for a spare. One thing we've noticed all day here today, and that was a good looking shot there for Mr. Perkle. A little surface on the bowling ball. Talking to some bowlers that were successful. They seemed to take a big asymmetrical ball, hit it with the 500 pad. That helped tame down the over-under. If you tried to throw any big core ball shiny or symmetrical, it tended to be tough to control off the break point. A bowling ball that seems to read the mid lane hard and can still give you a little angular finish seems to be the way to go. Over on 11 and 12, we have Devin Trice, Jackie Menini. And when the screen clears up, I'll let you know who number 3 is. It is Jared Heisdorf. Some pairs have 3 bowlers, some pairs have 4. Scoring pace has been relatively low as overall on the field. It's been quite differential between squad leaders and the people near the bottom. It's a very tough shot. 180 is a good game. 9 spares a good frame. A lot of bowlers have had trouble on the fresh. most of the pairs. There's really no miss to the right. Now, if you get really right, like you're standing right, you're walking a little left and laying the ball down on 3 or 4, you can play up the boards. If you're trying to hook it, it's a challenging shot. You have to bowl better to play inside than you do to play maybe out around 5 or 6. But typically, you get the ball started right a little early, and you're going to gutter, or you're going to clip off a 3 count. Joey Finley with a nice strike on lane 7. And Joey Finley with the first 3 out of the gate. Another good shot by Dustin Adams, but it just seems to read the lane about a foot sooner than he'd like it to. And it just comes in a little high on the head pin. He's going to have to make some kind of move. Well, Trey missed his little. It's not hard to throw a gutter ball on this shot. Ryan Powers with that Pink Widow urethane hammer off the gutter. He's bowled every squad today. He's done very well. He told me that the second squad he could not throw Pink hammer, that it was starting up too soon. It was clipping off the 7-pin. He had to go with something different. He was playing a lot more an inside path than what he's playing right now, but he had a lot of success throwing that Pink Widow urethane ball. And last year, he managed to win the tournament when he found something way off the gutter. He was lofting it about 10, 12 feet and getting it to have a nice skid, and ball was just peeling off the gutter like you wouldn't believe. I don't think that look is here today, but he has had some pretty good shots throwing that ball. Like I said, he had about a 500 surface on it. All right, Joey. Errant shot for a 3 count and a spare, but a spare is a spare. Looks like Trey's gone from the gutter to trying to play inside. Talking to bowlers that bowled every squad, they did see a difference between A squad and B squad, and it looks like there's a difference between B squad and C squad. A little bit of a double dribble there from Ryan, but still a pretty good shot. Sometimes that light 7, that blower 7 just doesn't carry in this house, but it's a tough break for Dustin Adams, chopping the 3-pin out of that 1, 2, 3, 8, 10. That was a mouthful. And Ryan Powers covers that 7-pin nicely. Joey Finley with a pretty good shot on lane 7, rings the 10-pin. Piper Curtis throwing the ball with a lot of surface on it. Looked real good on that shot. Dustin can't get off the head pin. He's got to move those feet a little bit left. Shot's very speed sensitive. It's very touch sensitive. A couple bowlers that did well said they were putting a lot of hand in the ball. A couple bowlers said they were being very kind to the finger holes and did well. So it really just comes down to your rev rate, your speed, your style. And Trey just rolled the 2-pin. He almost rolled a 2-pin previous shot on lane 10. So he's got good ball speed. He's got a lot of revs. Young two-hander. He's improved his game immensely over the last few years. Did some bowling at Baker University. Benefited highly from collegiate bowling. There's Brian with that urethane. Just throwing a nice shot up 5. Best shot in the house right there is Brooklyn. High carry percentage. Anybody that bowls here can tell you. Good shot on the Brooklyn side. It's 10 in the pit. Good shot on the right side, not necessarily so. Great shot on the right side, not necessarily so. Oh, Trey, that was probably the best ball you threw all day right there. Oh, Dustin, what are you doing? You need to. Had to bite my tongue on that. Dustin Adams is a fine bowler. He's just struggling a little bit. I was at a PWBA one time and had the occasion to sit in the VIP section. I was right next to the booth, and Kelly Kulick was calling the action along with CBS Sports guy. His name's escaping me. He does a lot of work with the women's tour. He does a great job. And one of the bowlers was struggling on TV, and we were on commercial break, so of course they weren't on the air, but they were talking, and I could hear Kelly, and Kelly says, I want to walk out of the booth. I don't want to walk down in the approach. I want to grab her by the shoulders and move her 5 boards left. And that's absolutely so. We've watched this great bowler just struggle to shoot 150 on TV in the wrong part of the lane. That's much better. There you go, sir. There you go. I think Dustin grabbed himself by the shoulders and moved himself 5 boards left and threw an excellent shot for a strike. We got Trey Myers working on a double up in the 7th frame on lane 9. Missed a little left, and oh yeah, the best shot in the house here at Revolution's King Hill Avenue in St. Joseph, Missouri. Good break for Trey. It's the kind of thing you need on this. He just turned a double into a triple with a good break. Now you put a good shot on that in the 8th frame and you're gold. Ooh. Lane 7, Ryan threw a good shot. I think he just got a little soft with it. Left the 3-6. Certainly not a disaster. He's just had such a good look with that urethane off the gutter. Looks like Joey's throwing one of those not urethane balls. He had a good look through 3 frames. He made a poor shot in the 4th frame. Then he came back from that, but now it's just not reacting for him. Sometimes that's a struggle with the urethanes and the not urethanes. Knowing when to throw it, knowing when to get out of it. Sometimes you don't have a whole lot of time to decide before it goes south on you. Yeah, Joey, that's a great shot, and he didn't make it. Oh, my goodness. He shot the 210. He threw the 2-pin right over in front of the 10. And the 10 is still standing. And then Trey shoots 2-7. So, all right, Trey, come on. You can make that spare. You can't see him, but on lane 7, Dustin Adams is up. He seems to be lined up. Made a ball change. Hooked a lot more than he expected. And Trevor with a strike. Trey with a good effort, going with a nice little backup shot on the. Having a bit of a mic problem here. Trey with a good effort on that 210. Ball just took a little bit on the end of the shot. I think I'm okay. And then, nope, not quite. I thought Trey was going to carry another messenger 5-pin, but not on that shot. All right, Dustin Adams, a little high for a split. I think Joey Finley needs to think about a ball change. He just threw that not urethane on lane 7 and left the 2-7-8. Just not picking up as early as it was before the transition hit, and that's what we're seeing here today is somewhere around the 7th, 8th frame of game 1 through good part of game 2, bowlers start to struggle. There you go, Joey. Nice conversion on that 2-7-8. There you go. That's the way to trip it out there, Bradley Perkle. All right, if he can strike again, scores have been low. 150, 160 is not going to hurt you as long as you can put a couple of 190, 200 games around it. Looking around right now, I don't see any really big scores. We might have a 170, 180. Unfortunate miss there. Well, Joey Finley set himself up to shoot a mid-170s game, which is not a bad start here. Three 180 games would probably be enough to get you into the cashier's round. Joey carries the Brooklyn on the fill shot. 175 is not a bad start either. It's not gonna hurt you. Certainly, you'd like to shoot better, but looking at the scores, with the expanded cut now being 48 to the cashier's round, I think if you shot 180, 180, 180, you'd make it. May take a little less. Just depends on what happens to the squad. B squad has some pretty good scores. C squad's starting off a little rough. We do have a 213 game by Ryan Powers, who's bowled good every squad. He's last year's champion. We finished up our first game here on lanes 9 and 10. Let's take a moment and recognize our sponsors. First, we thank Revolution's Lanes and Fun Center for hosting the tournament. Proprietors Jackie and Brian Manini. We also have JDR Electric, C&M Trucking, Miller Tires, Storm Bowling, Brunswick Bowling, Berkey Turkey's Pro Shop. Please visit their website, btbowlingsupply.com, and the Northwest Senior Missouri Bowlers Tour. The Northwest Missouri Senior Bowlers Tour is a tournament club open to all bowlers that are 50 years of age or older. It's a scratch event, men and women. The prize funds are good. They're sponsored events. They typically bowl their tournaments on a Sunday. They have an early start, bowl 7 games of qualifying. Then they have a step-ladder match play final, brackets, pot games, always being offered. They have a couple of weekend events where they bowl both Saturdays and Sundays. They have events in Topeka. They have events in Omaha. They have a nice doubles tournament, over under 50 tournament, Lakes of the Ozarks. Usually their first event of the year. Is very well attended, very popular event. A lot of good bowling, a lot of good bowlers. Everybody seems to be on the move here. Still bowling. On 3 and 4, that seems to be the slow pair of the day for whatever reason. They always seem to be a little bit behind everybody else. It's not the bowlers. I think they're just having a pin setting problem on that pair. Bowlers are making their way to 9 and 10. We have C.J. Bequilis, Bailey Gassman, and Kyle Stark. C.J. is going to start us off on lane 9. This is the 2024 Missouri Masters C Squad qualifying event. Excellent shot from C.J. to open up the game with the strike. Dalton Cook in the second frame on lane 8. He liked it off his hand and whiffed the head pin, so I'm not sure what happened there. Okay, covers the spare the hard way. I don't think he got the ball motion out of either one of those shots that he was expecting to have. Brandon Labo with his first shot on lane 8 and then comes up a little bit light. So Brandon is one of the top bowlers in the St. Joseph Association USBC. Brandon has won the Missouri State singles championship state tournament. He's qualified a number of times for the USBC Senior Masters. And I know he's cashed at least one time in that tournament. He had the opportunity a couple times to make the match play finals at the Senior USBC Masters and just had a little struggle coming in on the finish line on the burn block. And he'll be the first to admit that that's what gives him some challenges when he's bowling those tournaments, but he always goes out and bowls well. And he's had some excellent tournaments. He's got his PBA 50 card. He has a PBA 50 regional doubles title with our proprietor, Brian Manini. And Brandon made match play here last year, and I have no doubt that he'll make it again this year. 7 and 8 on for this cross coming in here. They seem to be playing a lot slicker than where they came from because they're having a little trouble getting the ball to feed up to the pocket the way they want it to. Oh, making the 310 the hard way. Spare is a spare, and on this pattern, absolutely right. No, it's Brody Johansson. Brody's a St. Joe bowler. Last time I really got to talk to him was a couple of years ago. I just didn't recognize him. So we have a good St. Joe cross here on 7 and 8. They're all three really good bowlers on this pair. So I suspect there's been a little carry down and a little burn in the mid lane. So balls are kind of losing a little energy and they're just not turning the corner off the break point. That's what I'm seeing out here anyway. In the high top on the concourse, and they got a little bit of an elevated view. It gives you a much better look at the mid lane ball reaction, certainly than what you have as a bowler. We don't see the ball real well on the lane, and sitting up high gives us an advantage. Billy Gossman's up on lane 9 on a strike, hoping for a double. Pretty good shot in the ring 10. Slow it down, Dalton. Good trip 4. Good trip 4. He said he get a little softer with the speed. I think he moved in just a little bit from where he was earlier and managed to get that 4-pin to fall over for him. CJ with the Brooklyn on lane 10. Take what you can get. Take what you can get. Looks like 11 and 12 is down. I'm not sure what's going on there. That's a good shot by Brandon. A little high trip to 4-pin, but I like the way he stayed behind that ball, and he had really good forward spine tilt on that shot, and it looked good off his hand. He may have just thrown it a little bit better than he expected. Well, Mr. Stark, a strike is a strike. I take it and run. Hey, Dalton's up on lane 7, delivering the ball. And real nice shot, 10 back for Dalton Cook. Come on, Brody, roll it. Pretty good shot, just make the spare. 9 spares, a good frame here today. Mr. Coilis made a pretty good shot there. Just comes up high in the head pin. Brandon Leibel with a strike on lane 7. Mr. Grassman here needs to convert a tough spare, and he does it. Good job. Spares are a big thing here today, folks. This is a hard shot. This ain't your league shot. This shot is a ratio of 1.8 to 1. 40 feet long. About, I don't know, 16, 17 feet forward. 16 feet, I forget exactly what it is on the reverse run. 32 plus units of oil and 9 loads 2 to 2. So this is going to play really hard. There's a lot of buff. It transitions quickly. For those of you that bowl tournaments, you know how tough this type of shot is. For those of you that don't, if you just bowl league, then you have to look at this pattern compared to your league shot is designed for you to have fun. It helps the ball go to the pocket. It helps you score. What this shot does is it does not help your ball go to the pocket, and it forces you to repeat your shots and make extremely good shots to throw a strike and to make a spare. Spares are difficult on this pattern, and since the scoring pace is low, spares become very important. You're not going to miss 2 spares and still end up finding a way to shoot 220 on this because you're not going to throw 8 or 9 strikes. All right. Dalton covers the spare. You know, spare, double, spare. That's going to make you some money here today if you can keep it going. Brandon Leibel up on lane number 8 in the 5th frame, working on the double. No, Brandon was calling for the Brooklyn. It didn't go Brooklyn enough. He just threw it bad enough to leave the 10 pin, but not bad enough to strike on the Brooklyn side. Brandon should cover this 10 pin. A little more exciting than required, but he made it nevertheless. Okay, out of camera view is Dalton Cook on lane 7. That's the way, Dalton. Good shot from Dalton Cook, 10 back. Kyle Stark with a difficult 3-9-10. Oh, he almost made it the hard way with the bounce. That's a tough spare to make. He's got to pretty much got to get the ball to touch all 3 pins. Really got to shape it in there. Mr. Grassman, high, trips out to 4-7-10 for a strike. Brandon Leibel, light in the pocket. 2-7-10, mixes out. Yeah, Mr. Bakoyas with a good mixer strike. He had nice angle, nice entry angle on that shot, and just sent pins everywhere. Mr. Stark's having some struggles. Just doesn't like his ball motion. You gotta be so careful not to touch it too hard. If you get most of the bowlers have reported that they had to be soft with the hand, as Janowitz says, kind to the finger holes. One player, and can't argue, he shot 714. He said he was banging on it, but that's the only one that I've heard from that said they were really getting on the ball and had success. Looked like Dalton got a little in on that, may have touched it a little bit at the bottom, but he survived, left a single pin. He's a good spare shooter, confident he'll put it down. still look around, you know, see a lot of strike spare, open, some donuts. Looks like scoring pace this squad looks a little low. Certainly that'll benefit anybody that's on the bubble. There you go. Dalton covers that 6-pin, no problem. Excellent shot from Brandon Liable. Set himself up with a double in the 7th frame. Excellent shot from Dalton Cook. Nice and smooth. He didn't grab it. Let gravity rule. 10 back. Sir Isaac Newton would be proud. Brody with a high hit and a lot of pins flying around, and the 9-pin standing for him. There you go. Excellent shot from C.J. Bacoilis. He needs to strike out, though, to shoot 2-0, which is an excellent game here today. Well, Brandon left that pesky 2-7-8 baby split. He needs to convert it. Yeah, ball just read the lane a little bit when I think it took left on him before he wanted it to. All right, got Dalton up in the 9th frame on lane number 8. Yeah, he got that one out. He didn't like it off his hand. Didn't get it back to the pocket. Left a tough spare. I think he's thinking about a ball change here. Well, Dalton walked back like he was going to look for a different piece of equipment, but I think he's more concerned about deadwood in the channel. Shouldn't come into play for him. Got to get it to deflect a little. All right, there you go. Covered up. That's a tough spare. That 9-pin can really be pesky on that shot. Knock over that 9-pin. Been telling you how well the Brooklyns carry here today, and then Brandon make me look bad. Wobbled that 9-pin, just couldn't get it to fall over. it. Ooh, for Brandon. Very exciting conversion for Brandon Lytle of that 9-pin on lane 8. Brandon doesn't seem to be too enthusiastic about it, but he got the spare, and that's all that matters. Oh, Dalton carries the blower shot on lane 7. So real nice. It's going to be plus again this game. It's plus first game. Got some scores coming in on lane 10. We have C.J. Bacoilis shoots 181. On lane 9, got Bailey Gossman with 166, and Kyle Stark struggled quite a bit that game with 116. Dalton is clean for 20 frames here. Coming out the gate on the C squad to 2024 Missouri Masters Championship in St. Joseph, Missouri at Revolution Lanes and Fun Center. If you're viewing, please share this feed with your friends. Well, not the best shot in the world there for Mr. Cook on that one, but nevertheless, he's got something he can clean up. He's going to shoot another game in the 2 teens. And so far from what I see going on, what I can see from my perch here behind lanes 9 and 10, he could very well be squad leader at this point after 2 games. And Mr. Johansson with a little Brooklyn strike in the 10th. Make you feel better. And Dalton covered up that tough spare. And his final score is 219. Yeah, Brody's can bail this game out for 180 with a strike here, which isn't too bad. He had a couple tough breaks, and Brandon's walking one out, but he can't get that 4-pin to fall over. So Brandon's looking at a high 180, 190 game. We have bowlers coming into the pair here. What will be their game number 3? While we're waiting, let's take a moment to thank our sponsors, Revolutions, Lanes, and Fun Center. Brian and Jackie Manini, my apologies, Brian and Jackie Manini, proprietors. We have JDR Electric, C&M Trucking, Miller Tires, Storm Bowling, Brunswick Bowling, Berkey Turkey's Pro Shop. Please visit their website at btbowlingsupply.com. And the Northwest Senior Missouri Bowlers Tour. Please check out the Senior Tour's Facebook page for tournament information and updates. It's an excellent bowling tournament, very well run by Dan Schmierbach, who's the tournament director. He works real hard to get sponsorships. There's good prize money. Tournaments are always very efficiently ran, and there's lots of opportunities for side action. They just have a good turnout in these events. All right. Migrating to lanes 9 and 10 will be one of our proprietors, Jackie Manini. We will also have Devin Trice, who bowled at Lindenwood University, and we'll have Jared Heisdorf. Not seen any scores to tell you who the leaders are on the C squad. Just know from looking around, I think Dalton Cook's plus 32, which I would be surprised if he's not the squad leader at this point. Can't see what's going on at the high end of the house, primarily because there's a great big column that holds up the roof right here to my immediate right. Over on 7 and 8 for their game 3. We have our first group we had on 9 and 10. We have Bradley Perkle, we have Trevor Piepergerdes, and we have Trey Myers. That's our first look at Jackie Manini today. Made a pretty good shot there, left a little bit of a flat 10, but she has the right idea. A lot of bowlers have been very successful today, throwing a rather big court ball, trying to get it to go straight, just tip over off the back of the pattern. Stay behind the foul line. Oh, Trevor. Well, Trevor, a little trouble in that opening shot there. I don't know if he lost his timing or his footing just wasn't real good, but he had lost his balance at the foul line and left himself quite a mess there to clean up. All right, Devin Trice with a really nice shot and a double to start game 3. I don't think he liked his slide, but he threw the ball very well. I've seen this young man bowl quite a bit. His good shots are really good. Get some more consistency and he'll be dangerous. Trey Myers with the deadwood cleanup on lane 8. Excellent shot, Mr. Myers. triple from Mr. Trice out of the gate. Good looking shot there. And Trey Myers covers that 3-pin with no problem. Trevor Pieper-Gerdes is up on lane 7. So we watch Jackie Manini carry the Brooklyn on lane 10. Trevor's having problems with his footing. He just didn't like that shot at the line. He just didn't seem to slide. He grabbed the ball, went right through the face. Oh, and she carries another one. Our Jackie Manini carries strikes in here like she owns the place. She didn't hear me. She's right in front of me, but she's not listening. It's okay. Wow. Trey Myers threw a shot on lane 7. It looked like it was going to go right. It bit the lane and carried for Brooklyn. I think both crosses on 7 and 8, game 1 and game 2, there are a couple players throwing sanded urethane, and I think it's just chewed up the mid lane. And it's a little bit of insta hook on lane 7. Devin Trice for 4 in a row. Just a beautiful shot. Absolutely beautiful shot for 4-bagger. Trey's just seeing the ball hook early. Got to go something a little cleaner. He's just going to have to go left. Going to have to do something different because he can't get the ball off the head pin. Trey, a pretty good backup ball shot at that 3-6, 9, 10. Got the 3-6, 10. Just couldn't get anything to get over there and nudge that 9er down. There you go, Trevor. Excellent shot. All right, Jared Feistoff carries a little mixer on lane 9 for a strike. And Jack covers the challenging 1-2-4-7 spare. Here on lane 10, we have Devin Trice up with 4 in a row, going for the Yahtzee. Ah, threw the anchor out. Excellent. Set that ball down, young man, and reset yourself. That's a good move. going to go through his entire routine again. Brushing off his shoe, getting his chamois, going to wipe his ball off, although it's clean. It's mentally just to keep him in the right place. Hopefully he can take advantage here and make it 5 in a row. Okay, I like it. Oh, goodness. Looked like a pretty good shot, and it just maybe missed it a little. Maybe just got around it to touch. It doesn't take a whole lot. And he left 2-8-10. All right, well, here 2 pins is 4 pins, so it's better to get 2. Considering the scoring pace, goodness, missed all 3. Well, Trey missing that 2 pin. One of the challenges on these patterns is when they start to break down, oftentimes you make a shot and you don't get the ball reaction that you expected. You make the shot you wanted to make. It was a good shot, but you just did not get the ball motion. And Trey was expecting that ball to pick up, hook left, and cover that 2 pin. It just went dead straight. And that's why sometimes on these really hard shots, and it's my opinion as a bowler, it's my opinion as a coach, that you're way better off if you have a plastic ball or an old hard rubber ball, something that's going to go pretty much dead straight. You just line up right on the pin, you throw it straight, and you cover the spare. The idea is to knock it over, not to hook the ball at all, and that takes lane out of play. 10 back for Trey in the 7th frame. But those missed single pin spares will just eat you alive on a hard shot like this. Down on lane 15, I just saw St. Joe bowler Caden Cook throw an excellent shot. He 4-9'd and something came off the side wall and took out the 4 and the 9. Big shot here for Mr. Trice. He can get right back on track. He's been throwing the ball great. He needs a strike here in the 6th frame. Yeah, I think he just got that ball a little wide to the right. Looks like his arm swing going into his pivots, getting just a little wide, and then when he tucks it back in, he's very well inside the ball. But when he tucks the ball back in his downswing and he's at the release point, I think he's actually in a little closer to his body, and his launch angle gets just a little steep, and he's just getting the ball out just soon enough that it's not making it back from the break point. All right, covers the challenging 2-8 spare. Then back for Mr. Perkle. And Trevor cleans up that 9 pin. Struggling this game on 7 and 8. And Jared Hisdorf is up on lane 9. Needs it to lay off a little. Oh, and he's a little high in the head pin. Leaves a challenging 4-9 split. Yeah, looks like Trey with the ball change and didn't get back to the head pin. And that's one of the things we've seen here today. And so many times a player is having some struggles and can't get the ball off the head pin, and they make a ball change or they make an adjustment and then they can't get the ball to the head pin. And Trevor just struck on lane 8. Really slowed his ball speed down. He's moved in. Carry there, Brooklyn. No, Mr. Trice missed a little left, but he left something he can make, so take that spare and run. He's still got a nice game going if he can get a couple more strikes somehow. There you go. Mr. Hisdorf converts that 4-9. Nice shot. What'd you think of that one?
Amazing.
When you threw the ball, I said it's going to be a little high in the head pin. He needs that ball to push, and he left that 4-9. And I said, boy, that's something the bowlers hate. You think you made a really good shot. You know it's a little high, but it's like, come on, give me a little bit of a break here. But then you covered it, so that made it all good, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, come on, Devin. Can't be missing those single pins. Trey covers challenging little baby split 2-7. Bradley Perkle is up filling his fill on lane 7. Strike would give him 177. Trey with a good fill shoot 181, which is not a terrible score. Actually, it's a very good score on these conditions. So doesn't hurt him. His last game, not sure what he had before that. I don't have any scores. I apologize. So on 7 and 8, we had Bradley Perkle with a 175. Trey Myers has got 171 plus his fill shot, which he's getting ready to make. And has 128 in the 9th. He can strike out for 188 as he has a strike in the 9th frame.
Dalton's got a clean 648.
He's going to get interviewed.
What?
He's going to get interviewed. Come on, Devin. Get that ball back. He's just lost the look. I don't know if it's carried down on him. He's getting it off his hand a little differently than he was earlier. He's got plenty of shape, but he's just not getting the consistency in the pocket that he had in the first half of this game. All right, Trey Myers finished up with 180 game. Yeah, Trevor's looking like he's going to shoot about 168 here this last game. Certainly not what he was hoping to shoot. Just getting underway down on 3 and 4 for game 3. 5 and 6 is in the 4th frame. Here in front of us, we're in the 8th, and we're just getting started down on 13 and 14. So we got a full game to go here in some cases, but right here on the featured pair. We're in the 8th frame. 7 and 8 is wrapped up as 11 and 12 is finishing up. Looks like they moved some bowlers to finish on 11 and 12. We weren't using that. I didn't think we were using that pair. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. Looks like the bowlers are getting some warm-up shots on 11 and 12. Certainly can call the action once they get started. Well, Devin Trice is having some troubles here. He started out his first 4 frames. They were 10 back. They were 40 back. Those shots were just absolutely smoked. Then I'm not sure if he lost his look or he just lost his arm swing a little bit. Looked to me like he got just a little wide on his arm swing and lost his release point. And that's the best shot he's thrown in 4 shots right there. So I think it's just the swing. Well, excellent shot on the fill there for Mr. Trice. I'm not sure what happened. He's holding his arm. I don't know if he hurt himself. Devin finished up with the 175 game. Not a bad game on these conditions, but certainly disappointing for the way that he started off and was throwing the ball. I'm sure he expected to shoot a much higher score. And Jackie Manini, a little bit of a rough game there with the 125. Jared Heisdorf earlier converted the 4-9 split. Bail this game out for 187. Needs one more strike right here in the 11th frame. Has a chance, and there it is. Okay. he's going to bail the game out. 187 is a very respectable game on this condition. So we must have had some kind of breakdown because we've got a group that transferred over to 11 and 12, which wasn't being used as squad. And they're just finishing up game number 1. So unfortunately for them, they're having a long block. Everybody else appears to be in game 3 of C Squad here at Revolutions Lanes and Fun Center. This is the 2024 Missouri Masters Championship. I'd like to recognize our sponsors for this event. We have JDR Electric, C&M Trucking, Miller Tires, Storm Bowling, Brunswick Bowling, Berkey Turkey's Pro Shop. Please visit their website. Getting a little tongue-tied here, folks. Been a little bit of a long day, and it's not over. btbowlingsupply.com. We also would like to thank Dan Schmierbach, Tournament Director for the Northwest Senior Missouri Bowlers Tour. It's a tournament club open to bowlers 50 and over. They host scratch tournaments. For senior bowlers, they have a number of events throughout the year. Please go to their Facebook page to check them out for tournament updates. Well, we have another group moving to lanes 7 and 8 here with the green screen indicating game 1. So I'm not sure what's going on. They can't actually be only in game 1. This must be a transfer from a pair where we were having some trouble. And the scoring system just recognizes them as being in game 1. But in any event, on 7 and 8, we have Woody Hawkins. We have Carly Kinney. And we have Jasmine Snell. And they're getting a few warm-up shots here. Well, over on 11 and 12. I'm not sure what game they're in, but Derek Von Arx finished up with 160. Well, on lane 12, Carl Klebine just finished up with a 132. Aaron Hodges, 134 in the ninth frame. Just left the 2, 4, 6, 10. Very tough split to convert. And he's gotten 2 out. So from what I can see, I believe he's going to finish up with 142. And that is correct. It looks like Eric Moore has 178 plus his fill count. Okay, well, first frame for Miss Snell, 10 in a pit. Woody Hawkins is up on lane 8. Leaves the 2-pin. We have Carly Kenny getting ready to bowl on lane 7, lefty. Wow. And missed this head pin as she started rolling pins forward, and she left the very rare ringing head pin on that shot. Should be able to pick that up with ease. And she covers it. First frame on 7 and 8, clean through 1. Jasmine Snell is up. Pretty good shot off her hand. It just pushes down the lane, and sometimes it finds that little slick spot. Those 9 loads to the gutter, and it just never made it back. It actually did come back, but it went about 2 feet longer than she wished. Okay, bowlers, I'm back. We had a little bit of a interruption. On behalf of the 2024 Missouri Masters Tournament, this is Monty Smith calling the action from behind lanes 9 and 10. We still have bowlers. Most of the block is finished. We have bowlers in game 3. And we have a couple bowlers that are in game 2 because we had a breakdown and had to move some players. And on lane 8, Jasmine Snell, very nice shot for a strike. Over on 11 and 12, we have Derek Bornarks, Aaron Hodges, Carl Klubine, and Eric Moore. Carly Kenny, just a little bit of a light hit, leaves a little light blower 10 pin on that shot from the left side. Jasmine Snell just missed a little bit right. She misses a little bit right, and it's just not coming back from there. Just a very, very difficult shot. Looks like she's getting to the line decent. She's getting the ball off of her hand decent, but her ball shape, ball motion is just not matching up what's required to score on this pattern. Beautiful shot at the super washout. She leaves the 6 pin. As I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Miss Snell's an alum of Nebraska. Excellent bowling program. If you've watched any of the collegiate bowling, especially on the women's side, they are outstanding spare shooters. Been to a number of collegiate events, and just watch the varsity women shoot and convert washouts like they're single pins. It's something that they work on all the time in collegiate bowling is spare shooting because the conditions become so brutal. They'll have 5-person teams bowling 6-game blocks on patterns with a lot less volume than this, and they get stupid hard towards the end of the pattern, and it's just very, very important to make all those spares. Washouts and 2 10s. Okay, Mr. Hawkins with the conversion of the 10 pin has a decent game going. Just another beautiful fundamental shot by Miss Snell, and just ball motion's too far down the lane. She's got to think about a different ball. It's pretty much what I've seen from her all day is decent execution, and just seems her ball pushes down the lane about 2 feet longer than it should. Great shot on lane 7 for a stone 8 pin. Just watching that ball in the mid lane, I really liked the way it was shaping up. Looks like it's a Jim Solid that he's throwing. It's got a little bit of surface on it, and just couldn't cook out that 10 pin. Well, Jasmine Snell shooting the 4-pin on lane 7. And it looks like she covered it easily. Made a pretty good shot on the first shot, which left the 4-pin. We all know the ball comes in a little high in the head pin at times. She has a lot of angle. Seen her throw a lot of shots today. Looks like she's throwing the ball fairly well, but you certainly can't get the ball motion that she's looking for. Over on 11 and 12. A lot of struggle going on over there. Double, but bad count in an open. It's just pattern starting to play very difficult. Eric Moore with a decent shot, light hit. Ball's a little lazy off the break point. Left an 8-pin on the light hit. And a strike for Miss Snell. Well, striking the 9th frame. Sets her up for a good finish. And a double. It's going to be a tough game, but a good finish for her. Double and a 9 count to finish out the game. Unfortunately, her score is only 166. Carly Kinney is up on lane 8. She can strike out for a max score of 203. Well, she missed a little in on that, but as a lefty, she carried the Brooklyn strike. And a nice pocket hit from Ms. Kinney for double in the 10th. Decent fill. She'll shoot 200. 200 is an excellent game on this pattern. Seeing a lot of bowlers missing spares. Low scoring environment like this. Spares are very important. The late Billy Whaley would say. Spares are scoring opportunities. Of course, Mr. Whaley bowled in an era where scores were relatively much lower than they are today, and spares were much, much more important. When you're on a high-scoring environment, you don't have to shoot any spares because you're throwing lots of strikes. Here, you're throwing lots of not strikes, so you have to be able to convert those spares in order to advance into the event. Bowlers are moving pairs, but I don't know which pair they're moving to because that wasn't part of their cross. They're in the 8th frame on 11 and 12. Derek Vornix in the 8th frame. High in the head pin, but strike nevertheless. 4-7-10 collapses at the last minute. We have Eric Moore in the 8th frame up on lane 11. Ball hooked early on him. Went Brooklyn. Fortunate to leave only the 9 pin. Aaron Hodges up on lane 12 in the 8th frame. Looked like a decent shot. Ball's pretty quick through the head pin, left 3-6. Eric Moore covers a single pin. On lane 12, Aaron Hodges attempts the 3-6 conversion. Covers it. A little dramatic, but it went down nevertheless. Right, in the 9th frame, up on lane 11, Derek Vornix working on a double. Oh, very nice shot. Leaves the 9 pin. Pin came off the right side kick panel. Went towards the 9 pin, got in front of it. Stopped on the pin deck, did not knock it over. Pretty good shot. Just a lot of back end motion. Typically, the pin decks at Revolutions, the back ends are pretty crisp. So oftentimes you can get a lot of movement on the pin deck. And he goes hard and straight. The 9 pin converts a spare. This is the 2024 Missouri Masters Championship. You are watching C Squad. It started at 3:30 today. The bowlers are bowling a 3-game block. They will hopefully advance to the cashers round at 6:30. The top 48 bowlers. We had a squad at 9:30, 12:30, and 3:30. The top 17 scores will be automatically seeded into tomorrow's 32 game. That would be something, wouldn't it, in one day? 32 player match play bracket. The top 48 bowlers, 17 of which are automatically seeded. The remainder will bowl a cashers round at 6:30. All scores will start over. And the top 15 bowlers will advance to match play, which will begin tomorrow morning. Okay, up on lane 12 is Derek Vonarks. He has 149 plus count working in the 9th and his first shot here in the 10th frame. He likes it. Left the flat 10, had the flat 7 to go along with it, and it fell out for him. Mr. Clevine, pretty high in the head pin, but he managed to carry the strike. It's on his fill shot, and he finishes up with a 157, and he had 4 splits that game, so that's rather tough game. He probably feels he made a lot of good shots, but yet his score is 157. And Mr. Vonarks covered that 10 pin. He's going to get a fill, and Eric Moore is up on lane 11. And has a little runaway crossover shot and leaves the 1-3 3-6 spare. All right, Mr. Von Arx, 9 count on his fill. And it looks like he shot 177, which isn't disastrous. Depending on what his other games were, he could still be in the hunt to make that cashier's round at 6:30 this evening, which will be carried here on this YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'll say this will probably conclude the action, at least the action that we'll be able to see after. Very good.
So we can do that.
Yeah, machines break. That's the.
Yeah, it's
That's the
unfortunate
thing.
to have mechanical breakdowns that frustrate the bowlers. Well, our live stream will be coming to an end here in a few minutes as we're finishing up play here on 11 and 12. Aaron Hodges was working on a strike, and on his first shot, it got away from him. He chopped off the 7 pin, and he just came back and converted that spare. So if he fills his fill, he'll have 158. So on the pair, we have Carl Klebine with 157, Eric Moore with 119, Derek Vonix with 177, and Aaron Hodges is delivering his fill shot. And he'll finish up with a game of 156. We'll have some interviews here in a little bit. I think we may be coming off the live stream. I'm going to check with our tournament director, Ryan Burks. Bowlers, a lot of the action is at the high end of the house, and we're unable to get any kind of decent angle there, but I am waiting to see if we can locate a bowler that bowled on C Squad and has finished up. My understanding is he's the second, number 2 on the leaderboard for C Squad. Young man named Dalton Cook. I wanted to talk with him because although he was second on the squad, he was 30 clean. And that's quite the accomplishment here today. And we're looking for him in the center. If we can find him, I'm going to interview him. I think he shot a high enough round that he's going to be seated in the match play for tomorrow, and he won't have to bowl the cashier's round, so he may have left the building. He's a local bowler, so he can get back here. He literally lives about 15 minutes away, so I'm going to assume that he has gone home for the evening. So I'm going to go off the air for a couple of minutes. We'll keep the stream on. There's not a whole lot to see here, of course, because we don't have any bowling. But we will be back at 6:30 p.m. tonight for the Cashers round, where 15 bowlers will make it into tomorrow's match play field. So for now, I'm Monty Smith, taking a break from the 2024 Missouri Masters Championship. We'd like to thank Revolution Lanes and Fun Center for hosting the tournament, the proprietors, Brian and Jackie Manini, our sponsors, JDR Electric, CNM Trucking, Miller Tires, Storm Bowling, Brunswick Bowling, Berkey Turkey's Pro Shop. Be sure to visit their website at btbowlingsupply.com. And also we'd like to thank Dan Schmierbach and the Northwest Senior Missouri Bowlers Tour for their sponsorship. So for now, enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and I will see you this evening at about 6:30 p.m. Thank you.